Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of A Bizarre World, where I was bored and someone said something about a tier list in the Discord, and I was like, I guess I'll do that, why not? So I made a tier list maker again. I have the Trello in the background so I know what all the stands are doing, and we're just gonna start with, I don't know who's first actually. We're gonna start off with the specs. Oh, that makes sense. You wouldn't believe who the first one is. It's Standless. I also had to take a few of my own pictures, which kind of sucks, but Standless has a punch that does 5 damage. Yup, that's all he has, so we're going to throw him in F tier. He just has one move, and that one move does 5 damage. That is baby numbers compared to other stands. Even though Standless is Standless, you know, it doesn't have a stand. Next up is Vampirism. Okay. Vampirism is, let's see. Well, his first move does 35 damage. And his second move does 37.5 damage. Space Ripper Stingyaz does 30 to 50 damage depending on how long you charge it. Sprinting Assault does 27.5 damage. Special Technique freezes them and then gives bleed, dealing 17.5 damage. Blood Suck, which will do what looks like 1.75, or I don't know, but he can get back health. He's got Sprint, a counter block apparently, where if you're blocking, oh that's cool. If you're blocking and someone's hitting you, they'll start to freeze up, like what Dio did to us. No, Dire. That's cool. Stone Mask on Standless. I say Vampirism isn't that bad. Maybe like B or C, probably C, because I know what some of the other stands have to offer. And if we need to, we can just move it around. Santana is really good from what I remember. He only got better. Well, his first move has a grab and a kick that does 15 damage each, along with giving health to the Santana user for 10.5 health and 30 damage. He's got a high kick, which is 37.5 damage. He's got a tackle, which is 40 damage. Rib Blades, which deal 35 damage and heal for 30, so that's really good. Meat Invade. I think this is like the first game to have Meat Invade, but what do I know, right? Santana launches his flesh. They do 1.5 damage per hit. They inflict bleed. They slow the opponent. They blur their vision. That's pretty good. And then Body Invade does 75 total damage, 7.5 DPS though. Finger Bullets does 2.5 damage each hit, which is, I think, the first game to have the Finger Bullets too. Absorption, he heals 25 health and does 50 damage. Tendrils does 22.5 damage and heals for 18. He's got a Leap. That's honestly pretty good. I'd probably put him in A tier. But then again, I don't know. Because these are just the specs, right? Like, if the specs are this good, who knows what the stands have to offer. And that's why you should totally check this game out. Next up is Cars, the last of the specs. He's got the moveset change with his little blades going on and off. He's got a Light Dash, which is just a dash forward. With his blades off, he has a Chop that does 35 damage, a Slam that does 37.5 damage, a Gut Punch that does 37.5 damage, a Swiping Punch that does 35 damage, and then 22.5 damage. That is 57.5. Yep. Blades on, he has a Slash that slashes his enemy 5 times, dealing 7 damage per successful slash, so 7 DPS. 7 times 5 is probably 40, I'm not sure though. Impaling Slash, he slashes the opponent, dealing 50 damage and healing 25. He's got a Blade Stab, which does 35. He's got a Blade Dash, which is 35. He's got an Array Slash, as they call it, which is 55 damage and inflicting bleed. It's like the anime swordsman where he, you know, puts his blade through them, turns around, and then they get cut up. That's what he does. Leg Blade, which I think is the first game to have that, because people just forgot that Cars can turn to a literal, like, walking Beyblade, right? Jeez. Blade on his leg does 30 damage. Cars, I'd say he's pretty good. I think I should put these two in the same area, because I feel like though Cars does more damage, they both heal the same. But whatever, I don't know. My tier list, my rules, and all that stuff, right? Now we're going to move on to stands. We'll be starting off with Crazy Diamond. First 2 hits deal 10 damage, while the last hit deals 15 damage. He has a triple punch for his left click combo, which is just 3 hits, so basically he does 10 damage for 2 clicks and then 15 for the last one, so that's like whatever. I got a barrage, which is 2.2 damage per hit. Got the heavy punch combo, which is 2 punches. The first one does 25, the second one deals 35. That's 60 damage for that move. Sliding kick does 30 damage on the first hit and 40 on the second, so that's 70. The bullet flick does 30 damage and inflicts bleed. The back fist shove does 20 damage and then the punch deals 40. So he shoves him and then punches him, which is cool. I think he did that against Red Hot Chili Pepper. I'm not sure though. You've got Restoration Mode, which is just healing. I don't really care too much about healing because I think we all get the general idea that every move that does X amount of damage when he's in healing mode will heal for X amount of health, but probably slightly lower, I'd feel. He's got the wall creation, and okay, here's a move. He's got a glass missile, which is a heart-shaped glass tracking at the opponent. I think this is the first game to have this move. Initial punch deals 35, and then glass deals another 35, plus inflicting bleed, so that is 70 damage plus bleed. That's absurd. Rock Restoration, which is, you know, Yo Angelo, am I right? 60 damage and immobilizes the opponent, so you could do this, stick them in place, then use the brush, and they're just dead, so. Jeez, Crazy Diamond's kind of goated. Maybe I should move these guys down to B tier. No. Okay, wow. Or I could put him in A tier because he has healing, I guess. Jeez. The thing with this game is it's relatively balanced since it's a like sandbox type game. So making a tier list for all of this is gonna be pretty hard. I don't think I need to talk about Cream, do I? Because we all know that Cream is the new brain dead meta, right? And if you don't, I'll go ahead and talk about it now. His first move is the click combo, 10 for the first one, 10 for the second one, and the last one does 15. He's got a chop that does 40 damage, just 40 damage, and then fist smash. Both of those combo into each other, so that can be 77.5 damage, and those are only the first 2 moves. Oh, but you don't even need to because it does it for you. R and R, fist smash and slam. So you could do the chop, which will ragdoll them onto the ground, then the fist smash, then you can do fist smash again, which is 20 damage. So that one combo would be, let's see, 37.5 plus 37.5 is 75, 20, that's 95 damage. Wait, and I didn't even include the chop. 40 damage, 37.5 damage, so that's 77.5 damage, 103 damage, I think, is this combo. That's pretty insane. You've got the kick barrage, which honestly I think is really bad, actually, because you do a downwards hit to like knock them onto the ground, and then you kind of kick it, so if you miss it, you just kind of kick in the air, and it looks pretty embarrassing, plus you're kind of left really wide open, so I don't know how I feel about the kick barrage. Arm crush, which guess what, that just does 50 damage. Just straight up 50 damage. You got a stand jump. And then you have the variations, which is based on his void leap. So his void leap alone does 15 damage, right? You know, just goes forward. If you hold T, you can control the thing. Yep. T and left click, you'll do boost of speed. Variations void mode. 12.5 damage per opponent hits, which is just the void ball just going straight through. V and E, which is where you will, if you hit them, you'll kind of dash back and forth to hit them over and over again, 12.5 damage. V and E, which is 12.5 damage per hit, and this is like a zigzag type pattern. So if that hits, that's going to hurt. You've got, okay, all of these do 12.5 damage, surprisingly. It's 12.5 damage per hit, so. Some of them will do more damage than the others, depending on how much they hit. Like, you've got the one where what he did to Polnareff, you got that. You've got the one where he, yeah. Why they show it twice? They showed it twice of him, like, going in the circle. That's weird. And then you've got the down under, the V and R, and yeah. So, yeah, in other words, Vanilla Ice is busted, and I don't really want to I'm not fighting anyone about this, but the majority of the people I've seen hate Cream, so we're putting him that needs to get nerfed. Like, the developer held a poll where he was like, alright, what stands need to be nerfed? And, or does nothing need to be nerfed? And it was like, nothing needs to be nerfed. And then the next day, like, wah, Cream, wah, I am baby. Like, make up your mind. You want it to be nerfed or not? Jeez. Diver down. His first, all the click combos do 10, 10, 15, so I don't need to worry about that. He has a burst barrage, which does 2 damage per hit, and then ends it with a blow that does 35. And judging by how much damage does the Kaku when it gets them in yellow right away. You've got a straight punch, which is 40 damage and inflicts bleed. A hook, which just does 40 damage. Neither of those can combo into each other, I think. It depends on how fast the person gets up. Energy store, which is where you'll put energy in the ground. And it can deal 35 to 50 damage and lots of knockback. So that's lots of damage. I think that energy store could combo with the things knocking them into. Then you've got the body dive where you go inside, hit them a lot. Organ punch does 50 damage in total. Kicks them from behind, that does 40 damage. You've got diver down launches around randomly, dealing randomly launches around the enemy, dealing 90 damage because they turn their legs into springs. And you've got guide. Then you've got tandem mode, which is, oh god, it gets even stronger. 25, 30, 40. 15, 15, 20, and that's all. 15, 15, 20 is all one move. Tandem kick. If you don't know what tandem is, it's basically the stand and the user acting accordingly, or it's them like kind of just beating the absolute crap out of someone while ganging on them. 40 damage and inflicts bleed. 20 damage and another 20 damage. That's 40 damage. Arm trap, which stops them from moving, so we can hold you in place. God, imagine if holding you in place stopped your knockback too. I think I'll put Diver down. Since he's got the tandem, I want to put him in S. But, jeez. Diver down kind of built different, though. Oh, funny gun. Okay, I don't need to talk about this at all. Okay, hear me out. So, when I was in the Discord, when they were adding Emperor, I was like, oh, cool, they're adding Emperor. I wonder if he's going to be good in this game instead of just, you know, shoots like one bullet and that's his entire moveset. And the developer's like, oh no, I'm just straight up making this an S tier. I'm like, what? He's like, no, it's no joke. It's an S tier. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, I'm serious. I'm like, oh, okay, I can't go against the developer now, can I? But I'll go ahead and state my case anyway, and by that I mean I'll tell you about all of his moves. He's got a double click for his left click that does 5 damage and 7.5 damage, which means he's the first one not to have those basic clips, because this is his stand-off moveset. That's right, I baited you. You've got the quick kick, which is 25 damage, the heavy kick, which is also 25 damage. Okay. He has more knockback, though, so it's got that going for it. You've got my favorite move, the brick, where Whole Horse just takes a brick and smashes it against your face, doing 25 damage. You got a slide, which knocks him down and deals 30 damage. Okay. And now for the stand-on moveset. All bullets will shoot off of any surface, so you'll always have a ricochet no matter what. That's like a passive. Left-click shoot. You will shoot, and it'll hit twice since it bounces off the player themselves after hitting them. So you'll get 25 damage off of that. You've got auto aim, which is 12.5 damage. You've got glass shower, which is 3 damage per glass shard. So if you can hit that correctly, you can almost insta-kill them. You've got hanged man, which is 25 damage and inflicts bleed. You've got rapid fire, which is when you shoot 6 bullets, each dealing 12.5 damage. Oh god, that's a lot of damage. The Kakuin dummy went from green to red immediately. You've got the Hanged Man super, which is 12.5 damage, and then 40 damage from the Hanged Man who stabs him, and that being stabbed also inflicts bleed. And you've got the slow bullet, which is just the bullet but slower, 12.5 damage, and it speeds up after a few seconds, deals 30 damage, so that's pretty good. Yeah, Emperor is pretty good. Is he, like, better than, like... To be fair, Cream and Diver Down were, like, the most recently added stands. I mean, I'm still gonna put Emperor in S tier just because, 1, I want to, and 2, it's actually able to be an S tier in this tier list. Gold experience. Alright, everybody, let's see. Gold experience has a barrage, which does 2.5 damage per kick, and judging by how many times he hit him and it went down to yellow, it's not that strong. You got a heavy punch with 27.5 damage. You've got a smackdown, which is 35 damage. You've got a stomp, which is 25 damage. You've got a heal, which heals for, it doesn't say. Oh, it just heals them. It just doesn't say. You've got a beatdown, which does 47.5 damage in total and 7.5 DPS. You've got life mode, which is when you can use stuff like the life punch, which will disable the opponent for 5 seconds, and it deals 7.5 damage on top of that, which is insane because that's all the gold experience mains do. You've got the beetle shot, which is my personal favorite move. You shoot the shot and it does 5 damage, and the second part deals 25 damage and inflicts bleed, which is decent. You got a tree, which is a counter. If someone hits it, they'll get damaged. You've got the snake creation, which is where a snake appears and does 25 damage and inflicts bleed to the nearest person. And you've got self heal. So gold experience isn't anything that crazy. I think I'll put him in like B tier, I guess. But yeah, I mean, so far we haven't had anything in D or E. And to be fair, the only thing that is in a low tier is standless. And since this game is in sandbox, if you're playing as standless, well, you're probably not playing the game right. Unless you're like me and trying to do a video on the worst stands in the game, trying to have a fun time, bro. Watch my the lock mains, yeah. Now we're going over Killer Queen. He strikes the opponent 3 times for his left clicks. The first 2 hits deal 9, and the third one deals 13, so that's 9. 9 is 18, plus 13 is like 30 something. 30 plus-ish. You've got a burst barrage, which is 2.225 damage per hit, and then a punch that does 30 damage, so that can do a lot. The Cocoon Dummy and the gift goes down to red from green. You've got the primary bomb, which does 37.5 damage if you hit it, and then if you detonate it, it does 25 damage. So that is 60-something.5 damage. Just for the bomb. You've got the coin throw, which does 5 damage, and then the destination that does 25 damage. You've got the explosive grab, which is where you'll punch them, which does 30 damage, and then put a bomb on them, then blow them up, which is 25 damage, so that is 55 damage. You've got sheer heart attack, which is just absolutely busted, must I say, because sheer heart attack in this game is like, can actively keep up with you, can, you know, it shoots you, it can do so much stuff. It's got 350 health. It's like it's literally a 2v1, bro. It sucks. You've got the sliding kick, which is 30 damage on top of another 35 damage, because it'll slide the kick and then it'll like kick down on you. Oh, stomp down on you. Then you'll enter elimination mode with V, where you can grab someone for 25 damage. You have the coin toss, but if the coin gets touched, it blows up and does 25 damage. You don't have to manually detonate it anymore. Instant sheer heart attack is what he did to the shop owner, where he tried to burrow in his. Oh wait, no, it's not that. I was gonna say it's the one where he tried to burrow in his gut, but no, with that guy, it burrowed in his mouth. Anyway, this sheer heart attack will burrow into your gut, doing 0.5 and 0.75 damage before exploding and dealing an extra 25 damage. Killer Queen is kind of nasty in this game. I'm putting him in A tier, which is good because Crazy Diamond is also in there. Yo, love to see it, love to see it. And we got Mr. President. This will probably be our first low tier, but Mr. President's pretty fun, so he's got that going for him. You've got a punch that does 5 damage. You've got the key invitation, which is where you'll put down the key and then anyone can enter it. You've got the key hostage, which if anyone touches the key, they're teleported to the room for 10 seconds. The user can't enter and the key disappears after a while if no one touches it. And if you press F with the key on the ground, you'll do Mista Punch, where Mista will, you know, come out of the key and punch it like he did to the driver. Toss Toggle, which is where you can throw your key or not. You can throw the key with E, which is the invitation one, which will do 30 damage. The key hostage, which won't do any damage but keep them hostage. So basically, Mr. President can only deal 5 damage with his clicks and then 30 damage. So we'll put you in. I'll put you in E tier. I was thinking of putting him in F tier, I really was, but now I'll be a merciful god today, you know. The generic punchy boy himself. He's got a barrage that does 2.25 damage. He's got a strong punch that does 40 damage. He's got Star Finger, which does 16 damage and then 16 again, as well as inflicting bleed. So that is 32 damage and bleed. You've got the punch combo, which is 22.5 damage on the first hit, 32.5 damage on the second, for a total of 55 damage. I'm proud that they're actually putting in the totals now. You've got the beatdown, which totals up to like 30 damage, and then the finishing punch does 17.5, so that's 47.5 damage. Starstruck, Starsuck, which it's the move where he pulls in the enemy. You've got time stop movement, which just lets you move in time stop, and then once you're below 25% health or more, you will enter Bloodlust mode. Your burst barrage will now do 40 damage, the second hit doing 25, meaning you do 65 damage now. The heavy punch now does 45 damage and inflicts bleed, because I'm sure it's when he like punched through Dio's skull. You've got heavy kick, which is 32.5 damage. You've got the rush combo, which is 32.5 damage on the first hit, and then 27.5 damage on the second, for a total of 60 damage. You've got the heavy beatdown, which is 17.5 damage, for a total of 52.5 damage. You've got the skull shatter. Oh, this is the one that I used against Dio. It deals 40 damage in total, and it doesn't say it on the trailer, but it does look like it inflicts bleed. Oh god, that's so strong. Are you going in S or the Shadow Realm? It's the second moveset. Like, Star Platinum's already strong enough with his, like, physical moves and everything, but now you're telling me that he can just increase his damage just because he's almost dying. I think I'll put him in S because him almost dying is just a comeback mechanic. Which I don't know if they would give to everyone else, because like what do they get? Like maybe like Polnareff could probably have Silver Chariot could probably have a comeback mechanic. The World probably not gonna have a comeback mechanic because they're probably just gonna do what every game does and add high Dio or something. Which, speaking of the World, he's up next. Killer Queen, maybe, like Kira, that's a possibility, I think. You've got a Barrage that does 2.25 damage. You've got a Heavy Punch that does 35 damage, my bad. You've got the Street Sign Smash, which is 37.5 damage. You've got the fact that when you use the skill, someone, their head comes off, which is pretty edgy. You've got the Donut, which does 35 damage. You've got Time Stop, which freezes everyone for 5 seconds in this game. You've got the Knife Throw, where you will throw 4 knives, which is nice, because I love games that have you throw more than 1 knife, Jesus. You throw 4 knives, the initial push does 22.5 damage, and each knife does 10 damage. Oh, he hits them and then throws the knife, so it isn't like what I thought it was. Well, I'm sad now. Oh, there you go. It's got Time Stop Knife Throw. I'm happy again. You've got Bloodsuck, which will do, well, 0.72 DPS, and the user will heal from yellow to, like, full. Oh, is that it? That's it? The World kind of ass. He's only got a few moves. I think the best thing he has going for him is Time Stop, but like, all of these stands are good in their own individual like areas. They probably will add the World Greatest High then, won't they? Because the World stinks. I'm putting him next to C tier, bro. And I'm sure everyone's gonna get pissy at me for this, because the World, my favorite stand. Shut up. We're doing White Snake now. Alright, this will be the last stand. 10, 10, 15 for his clicks. Barrage does 2.25 damage and ends with a kick that does 35 damage. Goes from green to red. That's a lot. You've got the Chop, which does 40 damage. If you have a stand disc inserted, then a second hit is launched from whatever stand the disc was stolen from, dealing 30 damage. So if you have a stand disc, you do 70 damage with that. Yep, that's what it is. I'm smart. Get good. You hit the opponent twice, dealing 30 damage for a double punch, and they both do 30 damage. You got Disc Throw, which is where you'll throw a disc at the opponent, dealing 30 damage if you get hit by the disc. That doesn't seem like it. I think the main problem is that when they throw the projectiles do dummy damage. Like, I think if they reduce the damage that the projectile does and, like, increase the damage that the actual hit does, it'll be a lot better. But you do 60 damage, and if you kill them, they play a Hallelujah, which is pretty nice. You've got a Disc Deal, which does 10 damage, then another 10 damage, doing 20 damage. But it doesn't matter because you'll get a stand disc and a memory disc. Counting prime numbers, you will get a 5% damage boost and damage resistance, as well as an extra X% per correct prime number for a max of 3 stacks. And if an opponent attacks you during this, they will counter, dealing 35 damage. H is just your selection of discs. You can do no disc, stand disc, or memory disc, which is what you need for that stuff earlier. You've got remote mode, which allows you to use a gun, my favorite part of White Snake, which is 15 damage per bullet, my bad, and 5 damage if it's a headshot, so it can do 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 15, 20, 15, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, or it can do 0, 0, 0 because you're a terrible shot. But yeah, you got the general idea, right? If it does 15 damage per bullet and then extra 5 if it's a headshot, I think you can do everything yourself. J and B, Melt Your Heart. You stomp the floor, releasing an AoE acid attack. Keyword acid, don't look that up. 12 damage per second that they're stuck in the acid. God, and they get stuck for like 3 hits. Acidic mode, it's a mode change. You do 17.5 damage with the first move, and 17.5 damage on the second hit, and 30 on the last and final hit, as well as dragging them closer. 17.5 plus 17.5, that'll be 24, so 25 and 30, that's 55, I think. You've got Heavy Punch, which now does 30 damage and inflicts bleed. You've got Chest Pierce, which does 45 damage and inflicts bleed, and that is everything for White Snake. I, personally, Oh, the fact that he can disable your... Well, when he seals it, I think that you don't get it back till you die. He doesn't actually take it. Like, if you reset or anything, you'll get your stand back. It has the effects of you getting the stand and them losing the stand, but it doesn't actually... Neither of you lose or gain anything, right? From what I know of, anyway. Whatever. We'll just throw a white snake in, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We'll put you in S tier. I don't care. And your damage was pretty absurd anyway, so I think it's justified. Alright, and there is my A Bizarre World tier list. Everyone has their own opinions and everything, so if you think something's better, good for you. That's your opinion. This is what I see as good. So as always, I hope you all like the game. If you're the game, like, comment, subscribe, with the good stuff. As always, I'll see you all next video.